Composer. Yeah.
Oh, the designer, Joachim Sandberg?
Oh, this is an all-in-one joint. Okay.
Yeah, I think the team was very small, yeah.
It's great because I didn't have to do that, because like gameplay-wise, I know Boston's got it covered.
Yeah, I think the team was very small.
Music-wise, I know Musum's got it covered, so it's like, I didn't do anything.
Well, like after like a few episodes of doing this, I was like, you know what? I may as well research the music guy and see if I can say any interesting tidbits about this. And I have not done that whatsoever on this. Like,
there's just a lot to talk about. I actually
I have opinions.
I copy and pasted the character list in the document, and it's just a whole page by itself of just names listed out.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's promote this a little bit.
Is this pre-show or main show?
Pre-show. Boop.
Thank you.
Thank you. I usually don't do pre-show for this because we usually just kind of cook right through it, but...
Oh, I know. Because unfortunately, it's one of those things now where I know that putting that up is literally just click the button.
Yep.
Click the button and it goes away.
Click the up or the down button.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's the dangerous part now that you're using OBS. You know how easy this bullshit is.
Fuck easy, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? It took me like 6 hours. Like, when I did the charity stream, I was like, well, I've got OBS working, I've got all this stuff working. Like, I hooked up all my consoles, I hooked up my 360 through my Xbox One so I could stream that up here and stream that out. Which, how the fuck that thing works as well as it works, I do not know.
That's some real dark magic.
Like, the fact that I was able to go into the Division survival mode and survive for a while streaming my console to my PC and streaming that out to the internet tells me how good that app is, especially when you consider that I can't save photos from the PlayStation app to my phone.
Dude, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. It sucks so bad. And like, I understand Microsoft makes it so much easier because they just have OneDrive, and it's like, yeah, just do it in OneDrive and it's easy, which is great.
Dude, you don't even need to do that. If you have the Xbox app on your phone, you can hit the screenshot and hit save, and it downloads it.
I don't even, just fucking Sony. God damn
it. But yeah, like, I probably took me about 2 days of sitting there with OBS trying to figure out how the fucking thing worked before I actually got the charity stream going. I was like, these layouts and that layouts, and I need this banner for the charity thing, and I need this, the link up here, and so on and so forth, and how do I get the chat to work?
My problem is always audio balancing. Somehow, when I'm just sitting here talking to myself, I'm so much quieter than the game. So I'm like pulling the game down by like 3 more decibels and 3 more decibels, and it's like, nope, still fucking super loud. What the hell?
Yeah.
Plus, Binding of Isaac is really loud.
Yes, it is.
Whenever I stream something I haven't played before, and granted it's been a long time, but like I was like with the new Warframe story content, like for a little while I was doing that, and I always felt bad for people watching because I'd be like dead silent the whole time, and then like I would reach a part where like I mess something up, or the character messes something up, or something's wrong with it. I'll just start cursing immediately in the middle of the game. It's like this otherwise silent playthrough. It's
I have seen people do really like occasionally like silent streams. There's like a small community that really likes, like, here's a dude that's playing like The Sims or something like that, and no one's talking, and it's great because there's no like there's no risk of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Best fake language ever. I don't care what game. That's the best fake language ever.
Simlish MVP.
Specifically when they got real life pop stars and rock stars to do songs in Simlish.
People thought that was dumb. I liked it a lot.
Katy Perry did a version of her big song, whatever it was, for The Sims. Amazing. Like, really she sings in Simlish, and it's a pure quality.
Really good.
I want the documentary where it shows the studio sessions where she did that.
Yeah,
I want to see her
see that.
Keep a straight face while doing it. I want to see her mess up
gibberish off this paper.
Give me a note clip about Simlish, please, Danny.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's like a Lonely Island behind the scenes video. I'd love to see it where they bring any of those famous stars in Hey, Akon, I want you to sing I Just Had Sex. Okay, you ready?
Oh, Jesus.
God, I would love to see one for Jack Sparrow. That's probably my favorite song of theirs.
Ah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a real good one.
Okay.
Oh.
You guys ready to start this shit show?
Yeah,
do it.
sorry, I'm trying to get Umbrella out of my head because my wife shared that video of not Tom Hardy,
Tom Holland?
Yes.
Yeah.
Doing Rihanna's Umbrella on
That
lip
was
sync
really
battles. And it's probably one of my favorite things I've ever seen.
Yeah. That was really good.
I really needed that yesterday as well because I love that clip.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing it yesterday was like, this just made my day doable.
The sunshine came out.
Yes, as it was snowing.
Right.
But yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Ready, Musim?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of TVGP's Game Club. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello, Governor.
And Musim.
Hey.
We give this warning at the beginning of every episode, but this one especially, since this game has a story, unlike a lot of other ones we've been playing lately. Spoilers. So we're going to talk a lot about probably not the beginning of the game, but a lot about the ending of the game as we get there. So fair warning, spoilers. If you haven't played Iconoclasts, sort of tap out now, but come back after you play it. We'll still be here. Let's talk about the game itself. Released on, this says 12/23/2018. That's wrong. It was February 23, 2018, and came out on the Switch in August. Developed by Cognac and published by Bitfrost Entertainment. Came out PS4, PS Vita, PC, and Switch. Time travel. Metacritic had an 87, OpenCritic had an 85, which is higher than I was expecting. Not because I disliked the game, just that feels like a game that people would have missed or tried and not liked.
No, because I think was this one of those early access games? Because I think
maybe.
I think this was one of the games that people were talking about being early access and being like, okay, this is another Dead Cells. This is another potentially high quality game. So
it's coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that, I can understand where the numbers came from.
Appears for the release date Subnautica, which was a huge, not really indie, but sort of a huge non-AAA splash. Monster Hunter World came out on consoles. Splash, yes, thank you. I didn't even tell that. Monster Hunter World came out, which probably captured most of the headlines, and Celeste. So if there was one indie game people were going to be talking about, it was probably that one. The question we ask every month: top of the pile, middle of the pack, or overlooked?
Honestly, with that peer list, middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of a different answer for that. Like, it wasn't something that really sounded like it got talked a lot, but I know a few, like Daniel Rindo over at Waypoint, I know liked it a bunch. So, but, you know, I mean, I tend to think of myself as keeping track of the news fairly decently, and was really not familiar with this game at all when we started it.
Yeah, this is one of those games that I think I'd seen a trailer maybe a year ago, and I'm like, ooh, all right, that looks pretty cool. And I saw some reviews, and people were like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I immediately forgot about it.
I think it was something we saw at E3. We may have talked about on the show proper about
probably, yeah,
seeing it in a highlight package for something,
and then adding it to the list.
Hold on, let's see what that is.
Well, now that we've played it, let's talk about the game itself. What we liked, what we didn't like. I sort of don't know where to start.
Well, I know from my perspective, we can save the stuff I didn't like for the end or towards the end of the discussion, because I have some very severe issues with this game, which come right at the backside of it. So let's start with a positive first and foremost. I'm going to probably backheel it over to Musim in a second, but let's talk about the music, because I streamed my entire playthrough of this game from start to finish. Every single second I was playing this game, I was streaming it, and there wasn't a stream where I wasn't humming along with the music after about 4 bars.
Yep.
It was like, oh, it's got a catchy little thing to it. Doom, 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 doom. Stupid music. I need to not do that.
It got me again.
Doom, doom, doom.
Yeah.
I'll be the negative Nancy. I didn't, especially like after you just. I'm sorry, Moonpear. I thought the music was kind of mediocre for most of the game. I thought once they started getting about, and this is probably a criticism that can be applied to the whole game. I didn't start liking some of the songs that I was hearing until about midway through the game. And like some of the later songs, I think were good. I think like overall, it's not a bad soundtrack. It just doesn't. It isn't. It's by the books. I guess
it's very generic. Like it is like, I'm not gonna argue with that. Like, it is a very generic soundtrack, especially for games of this type. But still, that stupid catchy riff got me every single time.
I think one of the interesting things about this game is that the default gun you have has that auto aim mechanic on it, which really weirded me out to begin with, where I'm sort of like, I'm not even anywhere close to this enemy. But I feel like with as much puzzling and platforming and motion you're doing as you're playing through the game, and as you're just sort of cooking through, especially boss fights, I feel like that's kind of a necessity that pretty quickly I was like, oh, okay, it's just making it easier on me. So when I fight, this game has more boss fights per hour than I think any other game I've played. I think that just makes that whole experience smoother.
I think as well it's probably because there isn't a plant button, because that was something I lamented for a while, was the fact that I couldn't plant myself. I couldn't contra it and just be like, stand still, shoot diagonally.
Hold one of the triggers, use the stick.
Yeah, I don't feel like the game. Honestly, I felt the game's controls were pretty clunky overall. Like, it didn't. I feel like they programmed it without putting a lot of effort into the diagonal directions in terms of what the controls were doing. So while I did appreciate how that initial gun, changed angles depending on where the enemy was, I think it was also a necessity due to how clunky the controls were. It's like oh gosh, I'll take heat for this. It's like Red Dead 1 with the sharpshooter. Like, the sharpshooter thing is there because the gun controls are not great without it. Like,
No, you're 100% correct. You shouldn't take any heat for that. Everybody, even people who love Red Dead, will admit that the Rockstar shooting mechanics have never been the best. They are improving every single game, but they're not, by any stretch of the imagination, third-person shooter controls at any point.
I think, sort of piggybacking on this controls thing, one of the most maddening design decisions in this game is that up and down are reversed for nearly everything. Hitting down to go in a door is backwards. Hitting up to pick up a block is backwards. Like, you hit up to go in a door, you hit down to pick up a box. Like, that's how it's been since Super Mario Brothers 2 is what I'll always remember for hitting up to go indoors. It's been since then, or before then, but like, I always got that wrong every single time I had to do one of those actions. My brain was just like, oh, go in a door, hit up. And I'm just standing there like, oh, yeah, down. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole required reading thing. It's like, you're not going to revolutionize the world by changing these two directional inputs. You're just going to annoy people.
Yep. Platforms are cooked already. Like, we know the controls. We're good.
Yeah.
It'd be like putting jump on triangle. It's like, that doesn't go there. Jump goes on X or A or B on the Switch. Like.
Curiosity. Boston PlayStation 4.
Yep.
Musum Switch.
Yep.
PC. So, all three available platforms covered.
Look at that, yeah. Nice. I had no problems on PS4. It seems like it ran well on all platforms from what I saw.
I will call what I did pulling a knobs, in that I bought the game a week before I discovered it was going to come out on PSN for free. So
There you go.
Yep.
I actually really liked. I think there's a lot of stuff that I feel like I had some issues with. The music is fine, like we talked about. For anyone listening to the live stream, there's an update for Photoshop CC. The controls were weird. I think from start to finish in this game, though, I think the pixel art was really incredible.
Yep.
Not only quality-wise, but I think variety of stuff that's in this game was really crazy.
Yeah, it felt like a Fez level of insanity of the amount of custom like artwork that's been put in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's ridiculous how varied it is, and I especially love the animation for the actual characters. Like, some of the little moments that they're doing storytelling or whatever, like there's a little bit of animation, and it's done so well, so smoothly, and so expressively for a bunch of like little pixel art sprites. Like,
well, and like you said, there's a lot of individual stuff. Like, Mina goes to hold hands with Robin, and they do that once. And it's like, you animated this whole thing for an important scene, but it's pretty crazy that you animated all of that just for a 5-second thing that they never do again. Like, that.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
same with like, go ahead.
I was just say, I thought all the animations were incredible. That was one thing on the art direction I really liked.
Yeah.
I do disagree a tiny bit with you, Boston, in that I really like the art about mid-game and past. In like the first half of the game, I felt like it was good, but it was like the music. It was kind of generic.
Yeah. Where do you feel like it really picked up for you? The Electric Forest?
Yeah, it was probably Electric. Maybe a little bit. Let me think. Because the tower is after Electric Forest, was before Electric Forest.
It's after, yeah.
The caves
before that,
were before the forest, like that dumb dark cave area that was the worst.
The underwater city place, like I thought that was all right.
Yeah.
Like the initial city and setting, like for me, that's where the art picked up.
Oh, okay.
Where the game picked up for me was when you finally went to the one concern.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's where stuff starts to really
get real.
Like, I wish they could have condensed that front half of the game into about half the time.
Sure.
And started there, because I know they had to have character build up for everyone, for everything that happens from that point on to have impact. I just wish it took way less time to get there.
Well, there's even that desert area that was sort of like, all right, this could be a lot shorter. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's here, and I know they're trying to ingrain in you a lot of the wrench, like swinging mechanics, which was always felt really cool, and then like zipping your wrench along the lines, which always felt really cool. But I agree with you. Some of that intro stuff sort of felt like it needed to kind of keep moving.
I think there's too many characters. Like,
yes,
you need to split the cast of this game straight down the middle and take out half of them, because
like, do you need to have that much talking with Mina's mom? Like,
no.
I guess she feels guilty about it, but
or Samba, or or
Gustavo,
or do you need the 3 not quite agents introduced at the end? Why not just keep the 3 agents as is,
right?
And then use them at the end instead of 3 new people who you're just introducing in the middle of nowhere.
I was surprised about that, because they're like, all right, we're going to go to this other place, and there's like 3 new enemies. And I was like, wait, are these new? Wait, I'm going to fight these guys? Who are these guys?
That's, I think in the Discord when I posted, does this game ever end? That's
yeah. And like,
that was around that time.
I really liked the fight. The one fight I liked, and we can segue into this. The one fight I liked with Mina was the one where you kept knocking that enemy into like the electric,
the fire lady fight.
Yeah, I liked that one a lot, but the other ones, especially like the teleporting one,
everything to do with Mina can go away, fight wise.
Yeah,
Her controls are terrible. Shooting was not natural at all. You have 2 sticks. You have a trigger buttons. You use a twin stick shooter control layout, not this stupid dashed line stuff.
Every time I had to control her, it took me so long to remember. Hit the shoot button to get the aiming out. Aim, and then hit the shoot button again to shoot a gun that goes some distance. I never know how far. And that made
I still don't understand why they even included playable sections with Mina anyway. Like the game has, like, to its credit, I really like the various mechanics and ways you combine your different powers as Robin together to solve puzzles. But I think the game does a bad job at having you constantly use all of those things, because there would be times I'd get to a new puzzle and be like, what the heck am I supposed to do there? Oh, I'm supposed to use this power I forgot about. And then throw
like an electric rocket. And it's like, oh, I can combine. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. But you don't use it often enough to keep it fresh in your mind that you're doing it. And that's how I feel about Mina. Every time I went to play her, it was like, what does this dotted line hit something? Okay. Oh, no, it doesn't. That's right.
Right.
I have to use the bad aiming controls to try and hit something with her. And it was like, if you want us to play Robin, then have her playable for the duration of the game and fill out her character mechanics more to make her fun.
Yeah, because it's a bummer, because the boss fight, I think it's the first one you fight with Mina where you're switching, where it's that, like, green Mayan thing that you're switching between. Yeah, like, that's a cool fight. But controlling Mina to do this stuff it feels natural to control Robin, and that half of the boss battle feels really good. And switching over to Mina is sort of like, oh, this plays so much differently, like I just can't. And I feel like that doesn't rear its head any worse, the worst time it rears its head is when you're fighting the one sneaking, stealthy boss battle in this game.
Are you talking about the tag battle with Robin and Mina, and it's the guy who can get you into the one concern?
Yeah,
Ash.
and it's like, that's such... I wrote in my notes, and I feel badly going back to this, that fight reminded me of Owlboy, where it's like, I get what you're going for, but it's so far off the mark of what's enjoyable for me in Owlboy. It was like those stealth sequences. It's like, this is not what your game is good at.
Well, it's also not helped in that fight by the fact that Mina cannot climb ladders. Mina cannot crouch through gaps. So I ended up scouring that entire big map, finding the one place where she could be dead center of the map, so then I could use Robin to bring the guy to Mina rather than try and use Mina to run around and solve the issue.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
I mean, that, to me, like, I got stuck on that fight for a while because I thought, oh, he's walking around now, so if I go out now, he's going to attack me. So I need to wait for him to stop walking and then shoot at the location where he was. And that was, I had to look it up online. That was wrong.
Me too.
You're supposed to go after the footprints. So I feel like there's a communication issue when they do stuff like that in the game.
Yeah, I feel like that for me is probably the lowest point of the game. That's just personally, because I really, really liked 95% of this game. That's one of the 5% is just this boss battle that just it doesn't feel good.
Probably second lowest point for me would be that one. The first one we'll go into in a bit. But just to rewind a second. Sure. Musen mentioned about how long this game was. It made me laugh because we talked about the game on TVGP proper last week, and you were like, "Oh yeah, you've done the tower, you've done this, you've got like City 1's like the only thing you've got left to do." And I was thinking, that's good. Wrap it up in an hour and change.
City 1 is. I was trying not to spoil it, but City 1 is long.
Yeah. 3 hours later, I finally
How long did it take you guys? Because I finished it in 9 hours.
Probably about the same.
Okay.
13 hours.
Okay. Then that checks for your usual like standard time plus 25%.
Yes.
Yeah.
It always takes me longer for some reason. But,
standard time plus Musen time.
Yeah. Right. So we haven't really talked too much about the story yet, because I feel like that's gonna lead into the end. Number one, I was really surprised that Robin was a silent protagonist. That
Yes.
wasn't what I was expecting, and I feel like with the amount of story, raw story, and the amount of world building they have in this game, it's surprising that Robin stays mute the entire time, because there's so much story and there's so much world building going around her that it, not that it feels bad, it seems like a natural choice for her to say something.
Yeah.
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 Well, they have those conversation options in the game, and I forgot to look up to see if those actually do anything.
Yeah, I feel like they probably didn't. I don't know if there's multiple endings. I don't think there can be multiple endings, but I feel like those probably are just really short. Like, no, you don't have to come with me, and they're like, that's funny. I'm coming with you anyways. It's like, oh,
yeah,
okay,
that's what I figured.
The false equivalency of choice, where you think you do.
So I kind of hated all the characters but Mina until near the end of the game. Like, I don't like, or I'm sorry, but Robin. I got my names mixed up.
Sure.
Like the protagonist, of course, you always like, because that's you, and they're always right, and they're always doing whatever you feel they should be doing. But like Mina annoyed the crap out of me for like the first half of the game, and eventually
I liked her. Cause
won me over, but
I liked that she was kind of headstrong and not always gonna make the right choice, but she's gonna go with her heart. And it never works for her, but I like that she has this sort of ethos about everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I'll probably mention again at the end, but the game feels like it's trying to have a message, but by the end of the game, it forgets what message it's trying to get over.
Yeah.
Because you've got the headstrong Mina who, like Musum said, I hated her at first because she was right no matter what, and I get it. That's how some people are. That's fine.
Yeah.
Those people irritate me as well in real life. So
pirates are the good guys.
And she had her way, and that was the right way. Then you've got Robin's brother, who is
ugh.
I don't like Elro, I think his name is. Yeah, Elro.
The worst. Like oh my gosh, I wanted him to like.
He's not my least favorite character, but he's close.
At the end, when Mina shot him, I was like, "Yes, is he?"
Get it, Mina.
He's not dead. You're not even going to tell me what happened with that scene. She just shot him, and he walked back over. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, there's him and his I am right, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
if it's
overprotecting Robin.
Yeah, exactly. Telling what she should and shouldn't be doing based on what he believes. And his weird
insistence on her being sick, which I feel like the game never really explained, where he's like, look, she's not well, she needs to go home and she needs to rest. It's like, okay, I just like blew up a robot scorpion tram, so like I'm okay, man. Like I'm doing all right out here.
One thing that did entertain me about Elro, and this is the one point I'll give him, is he feels like a character who thinks he's the main character in the game.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
He's the Cypher, to bring a Final Fantasy VIII analogy in here.
I actually really liked Agent Black. A lot of the agents I wasn't crazy about, but I liked her as the game went on. I liked her more and more as she started unraveling
her backstory.
Yeah, like as she starts unraveling and as you start learning her backstory, like there's a reason why she has so many headaches. There's a reason why she's doing all this. So there's a reason why all these agents are the way they are. And that was probably the one character I had the most sympathy, or any sympathy for, really, in the game, was Agent Black. And I think it's a great character arc, from starting with she has a lot of headaches and this guy keeps yelling, to I feel really badly for killing her at the end.
I'm sorry, White is the best. The guy who just keeps yelling. I think that's Agent White, and he's just incredible. Like, he dies way too soon. Like, keep those three, keep them for the battle at the end. That's fine, whatever. But yeah, I think Black is my favorite character in the game. Like,
Black was. Oh, sorry.
You know, go ahead. Like, it was one of those things. Like you said, Mason. Like, Robin was, without her speaking, they do a good job of telling her story,
Hmm.
Black has the best character arc of the game.
Yeah.
Where she goes from a no face, no personality kind of villain to the most understandable character by the end of the game.
Yeah.
For me, Black was the character that I loved to hate, and then I had to fight too many times.
For me, that
like-
was Chrome. As I love the guy with the cowboy
Helicopter.
hat.
But you never really fought him.
No,
though.
I
mean,
just
guess
hated him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
mean,
sorry.
He died. Like, I really enjoyed. Like, Mina is or not Mina. Let me say use Mina for all the characters. That'll
Right. All
be
the ones
real
you don't like.
conducive for this conversation. Black was like when they reveal her whole story at the end through that battle, and you find out, oh, she's 187 years old. She has vague memories, and her transformation was botched, so you always had these headaches. Like, finding all that stuff out, and not the final battle with Monster Her, but the battle where you're just throwing seeds into her.
Yeah.
Like,
oh,
to
man.
me, that would have been the perfect ending, that fight right there. I felt they overdid it by having the monster come out, but
Yeah, because
Yep.
when she sprouts in the tree like everyone else, I was just like, that didn't feel good doing that. Like, I know I had to, but that didn't feel good. And the boss fight with the Monster Her, I felt mechanically was really good.
Yeah.
It was a fun fight. But story-wise, I agree with you, where it's sort of like, this might have overstayed its welcome. I feel like it was a bigger gut punch by her sprouting like everyone else, and that was a bummer.
Yeah, they had a chance to do the Metal Gear Solid 3 ending, not to the same degree,
Right.
but the Metal Gear Solid 3 ending where it's like, no, you have to put a bullet in Big Boss.
Push
That
square
is
button, damn it.
push square to finish the game kind
Yeah.
of thing. And they had that chance. And like you said, it did not feel good to finish her off the way you finished her off.
Yeah.
That is a good ending for her when she does the tree thing. And then, yeah, it's just, you've just ruined the entire character development arc of this person.
Right.
Especially considering you're with Royal at the time, who was, I hate Royal.
I feel like one of the things that's weird about this game is I almost feel like you're supposed to feel sympathetic towards Royal because he keeps trying to do the right thing and it keeps making the planet worse. And there's supposed to be this redemption arc where he goes and finds Mother, and like she welcomes him back into her arms, and everybody's great and City 1 again. And it just all keeps going wrong, but it keeps going wrong because he sucks. Like, just go home, Royal. Like, just stop doing things.
I'm probably going to phrase this really poorly, so I apologize if I offend anybody here. But he's the uppity rich kid who's had everything he ever wants and just wants a little bit of mommy's love.
100%. Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
I didn't hate Royal as much as you guys, but I do live in Oklahoma, and so I grew up with a lot of Royals who thought that they were the divine right of judgment.
King Poop
so
of
like,
the neighborhood.
So like I've already developed the skill of they're going off that, oh hey, they're back, they're going to talk like a human being again. So like I had sympathy for him and hopes that he would pull it out. And when they had that scene where you were running off with him and couldn't take him through the door, like
that got me for a second. I was like, is there a way I can, let me Google, can I save him? Nope. Crap.
That got me in that I died in that area trying to figure that out.
Oh, wow,
Like,
okay.
yep, I literally waited.
Switch places, and then I Googled it, and there are whole forum chats on how you can't save Royal. And,
yeah, you think it's like a Final Fantasy VI thing, where it's like, if you wait until there's like 5 seconds left, you can save him.
I guess, like when Agent Black died, I was like, well, she ripped off my brother's arm. She's already kind of irredeemable at this point.
Right, she's done so much.
He deserved it. He deserved it.
Yeah, Elro deserved a lot.
I mean, he deserved it. Like, Elro is horrible, but at the same time, like, all of those agents are a billion times worse. Like,
for decades and decades. And I think a part of why part of the interesting thing about Black is I think she finally snaps when she finds out that Elro's injection works and it kills them. I think that was the interesting part where she finally snaps, and it's just like, okay, this is the stakes have been upped, they've been raised, and it's going bad for Agent Black.
Yeah.
I do wish, like when you go up to the space station and you see everyone's names on the doors, including I can't remember Black's original name, like Miranda or something, but I wonder if the game actually tells you about the rest of those characters sufficiently, or if my memory's terrible, and it did, or like maybe that could have been the better version of this game where they didn't have like they condensed the beginning area with introducing you to everyone in the world and then gave you more information about.
When I got to that point, I recognized almost all the names. There was like Mother and Father and Royal and some of the other people, and I think some of the other ones showed up in some of the lore stuff you could read on like computers and wall plates and stuff like that in the Teenage Towers. I think that's where a lot of that stuff showed up.
Gotcha.
But the Teenage Towers were overly long.
That did take for man. I got stuck on those for a bit because I was like, where the heck have I not gone yet? I
had to look up a walkthrough at some point because it's like, okay, I have 4 elevators that some of them, can't go up all the way, and I was like, I need to look this up. I cannot spend 5 hours in this tower.
That's probably where my extra 3 to 4 hours went. Then.
Probably, yeah.
I hated those towers so much.
I never got into the auditorium either. I don't know if you can or not.
I don't know if you. That was a weird part too.
Yeah,
it's one of those parts where it's sort of like, I get that you're indoctrinating the teens that are living in this tower, but maybe I sort of don't get it. Yeah.
Like, I know the game's overall message is, it's a metaphor for, hey, all these groups are siphoning the planet of its resources, and here's City 1, where it's basically us in modern day, where people just complaining about movies and games and things.
Their phones and stuff.
The insinuation is the United States, I assume, is
consumerist culture.
Yeah. It's an interesting metaphor that I don't think quite lands like overall, but it's still a neat kind of thought experiment. I will give it that.
Yeah, I mean that's part of what I love about it is it puts all of these different sides of the argument all against each other, like in the form of the pirates and One Concern and City 1 and everything. It puts all of these parties at large, like this big. Everyone's coming together because there's a cataclysm on the way, and it doesn't do a thing where it ever says who's right and who's wrong, which that's fine. You don't have to make that statement. But we're probably heading very close now to the bit
Let's just talk about the Star Worm. Let's pull off the Band-Aid. Number one, surprised the Star Worm was real. I was expecting them to go up to... What I was fully expecting to go up was to go up on the space station, number one, which I was surprised we do. Number two, I was expecting to see Father and the Space Worm dead up there. But we see it very much alive, and then, shock of all shocks, Royal ruins it by being a baby.
Yep.
Has a hissy fit, and sends the Star Worm to the planet.
Does he send it to the planet? Like, to me, he damages the Star Worm, so you have a hitting point for it whenever you go down to the Earth. So, like, I feel like it was going to go down there anyway, because weren't they talking about the Star Worm coming and that being a sign of doom? So...
Yeah, because allegedly that was the thing that was going to finish the planet off.
I mean, it was a bird alien driving a worm, so, like...
Space truck.
I feel like
That's my biggest problem with this game.
That's the thing is, like, they build all this lore about this religion, about the Star Worm, and so on and so forth. And if it was just a Star Worm, if you take out the reveal that happens when you get down to the planet, if you just say it's a giant beast, and the royals have, or the mother and father and the royal all have some way to communicate with it, and he messed her up, and the planet's going to die because of him. Then you get into a fight with it, you kill it, and what happens. You save the planet. That's fine.
Yeah.
That bit I'm fine with, because then it incorporates the huge space beast that happens to be the life of the planet. And then you can say, okay, maybe it's a cycle. Maybe every 500,000 years, this big space worm comes back after everybody's drained the planet, and if you don't stop draining the planet, then it's just going to keep coming back because it feels that it's a planet eater.
Some real Final Fantasy VII stuff.
Yeah, it can't eat the planet if the planet is full of...
Right. Holy comes down, and meteor, and... Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Stop it there.
Oh, and there's Red 13 on a cliff for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
Right. And who's that guy coming out of a coffin with a red cape on over there? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
But instead, we get Fuzzy Dice Spacebird Trucker, who turns out the space worm is just his ship, and he's coming to fuel on the planet, and he's disappointed that they took all the fuel that they were calling Ivory?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he coming to fuel on the planet, or is he coming because the planet is out of fuel?
I think either way, he was...
I think he's coming to fuel the planet. Like, when you blow him and his space worm up, suddenly everything's living on the planet again.
Yeah.
And it's also a question of, like, what was that machine at the bottom, like, changing the climates on the planet? Like,
right.
I didn't quite get how that fit into the whole picture either.
Oh, that fast travel thing?
Well, no, like, you fight the... let me think. When is it in the game? You're trying to... No, you're with Royal. You go down. They're talking about the machine that they got to kill.
The spines. It changes the spines of the planet, which change the way the planet layout
right.
is.
Okay, that part. Yeah. Sorry.
Like, to me, that infers that the whole planet is intended to be a machine. But I wasn't really clear what the purpose of that machine was. And
nope. The game isn't
obviously,
either.
the planet was dying because the one concern was sucking it, taking all its resources away. And part of me expected, like, Robin to get infused with Ivory at some point, and that never happened.
Yeah, I was waiting for the brother to get that.
Like that was the way to save him.
But the I hate to make the reference again because this occurred to me too. Was the second the space worm opened up and the giant owl-looking thing came out, I was like, "Wait, is this Owlboy all of a sudden?"
Right. The space worm, the space bird trucker comes out, and it's just like, "Oh no,
what's going on here?"
Yeah.
But the problem, I said it
mechanics wrench too.
Yes, he did, and he did the spinny thing and he charged it up as well. So he
had all of her moves.
I think Patrick Klepek, when he worked for Giant Bomb, I think it was when he was doing the spooky game stuff, he was in a discussion on something where he pointed out that a twist is not a twist if it comes out of nowhere. Like, to have a twist, you have to have the build up to it. A perfect example of that is Saw 1. Saw 2 I think is a better example, because in Saw 2 he has that monologue at the start with the cop guy, and he's like, "Look, everything's already played out. Everything will be fine." He's speaking very cryptically, so you don't understand what he's talking about. He's like, "You'll find that if you stay exactly where you are, in a couple of hours' time, everything will be fine. In fact, your son is safe. There is a safe in the room with him, and at the end of the movie, the clock ticks over the 2 hours, the safe unlocks, and his son is in the safe in the room where he was talking to Jigsaw." Like, that is building towards a twist. It drops little knowledge drops along the way to get to that ending. When suddenly a giant eagle comes out of a giant space worm and starts spinning a wrench around, there's no build-up, no explanation, no hidden truths about this in anything that I read.
Birdman.
Yeah.
Right.
I was thinking Harvey Birdman, sorry.
It's okay. It feels like the laziest form of writing ever, where you get to this point in the story, you think you need something else, then you throw something random in there for fun.
Well,
or
and
like,
I think...
sorry. Maybe they had explained it through something else in the game, but that should have been part of the game. So if this thing, number one, fighting the space worm by itself would have been really cool. You defeat it, the planet, the planet stays the same like it does in the ending. That would have been great. But this thing cracking open, I was sort of like, there's something inside of it, and this thing climbs out, and it's like, I don't understand any of what I'm seeing right now. Like, none of this makes any sense. And my first thought was, great, I missed something, but no, I didn't. No.
I'm willing. Like, I feel like this game is meticulous enough in certain areas that probably some of this information is out there and it expected us to put it together. I just don't think it did it in a cohesive way for that to happen. I think it's what it comes down to, because like they've obviously put a ton of thought into a lot of areas in this. So it's I completely agree. It's a crappy surprise. Here's a alien bird thing,
right?
But at the same time, like I can't help but think they probably thought they were putting here something clever that everyone would find that no one did, or maybe they were hinting around something that they expected people to put together that didn't. And I think that, you know, I don't know what in the process would have done that. Like maybe they didn't have enough, I forget what they call it, like testers, going through and giving feedback notes and then massaging it per those notes. Or maybe this is just a very stubborn visionary of a creator who didn't want to bend what they thought the game should be exactly. You know,
similar to Owlboy, where it's like I have a vision, I'm gonna see this vision play out, and I've been married to it for so long that you're not really seeing the weaknesses. And that part, this specific Spacebird Trucker stuff really bums me out, because the whole rest of the game that isn't that, I really love. Like, I really love Iconoclasts. I know I love it way more than you guys do, but, like, something about it really clicked with me. That portion, I texted Moon last night that they try to jump the shark and, like, have something unexpected happen, but the shark just eats them. Like, out of nowhere. It's like, the shark was real and they got eaten. No. Like, and the ending I thought was fine. Like, it was a surprisingly happy ending. But that portion specifically was just sort of like, all right, man, I was taking this ride and I was ready to meet the space worm and something went wrong.
Yeah.
This game needed an editor. I think that's what it
needed, like, a narrative designer. Like, there's all these parts that are really coming together, and the lore, like, almost all comes together, and there's just some of this stuff that it doesn't all completely link together. And I think the number of things that don't link together, and, like, there's a number of narrative threads that are sort of left dangling, like that pirate home ship that
the guy who's mapping the planet.
No, not so the other pirate ship. You know, the pirates that are underground. They have, like, that temple that's clearly like a spaceship. There's 2 of them in the game. I still don't know what they do. And, like, that and a bunch of narrative threads are sort of left dangling. And there's so much cool stuff there that if you tie all that stuff together, I think the game would be. I would like it. Right now, I like Iconoclasts in spite of itself. And I think had all that stuff come together and had the Spacebird Trucker been at least hinted at a little bit throughout the game, I think it really could have been, like, this really exceptional game. It just doesn't. The last mile wasn't there, and I think that's such a bummer. It's not like Owlboy, which I'm going to keep going back to, that had all of these major fundamental problems throughout the entirety of the game. It just didn't get there.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I didn't hate the game. I mean, I obviously don't like it as much as you, but like, I applaud it for, especially by, you know, from the One Concern and on, just going for this super dark, like, wonderful storyline there. And, like, it's not like a typical gore show or this or that. You just, like, I think the brother functioned well in that One Concern thing. He was still someone that I cheered when Mina shot him.
Right.
But, like, but he was the character that it added a flavor to that portion of the game to have someone just so against everything you're doing, who has your best interests at heart, and having Royal, who just thinks he's this divine right doofus, just never quite make, like, going back and forth between pampered boy and I'm going to raise my arms and cause massive.
I am the chosen one. I'll fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, Black completely. I mean, they just all the character parts from One Concern on All, I think, are amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly.
I mean, that's. I mean, it's worth saying. Like, I hate Elro. I think Mina talked about this on Pup at some point. I can't remember what game she was talking about, but she gets a lot of flack for not liking somebody in one of the games. I hate Elro as a character.
Yeah.
I love him for his inclusion in the game because that is a great role, and you need that character there.
Yep.
But I hate him because he's so well done as a character.
Right, like everyone else is like, let's go save the planet. He's like, no, we're going home. You guys are dumb. And it's like, all right, yeah, like you don't see.
And the fact that
you don't see that.
the other chemical person who Ishtiro, wherever her name was, knew him well enough to know, yo, I'm not an idiot. You're gonna say yes and then not push the button.
Right. Yeah, like you need to be careful about him. Like.
Yeah. Like. Like you guys said, like I think the thing with the way is I do recommend this game. I genuinely do.
Yeah.
Like I said it at the end of my stream like yesterday. I was like, the puzzles are great, the platforming's pretty great, the artwork gets incredible.
Almost all the bosses are incredible.
Boss.
There's 20 bosses.
And one of them,
one
of them is an unbearable poop show, which I despise. Funnily enough, it's the Elro boss fight.
Oh God, we were talking about this on TVGP last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm tired of controlling characters that are hurt and they just crawl across the screen. That's not fun, and especially Elro getting pushed back so often fighting that boss. I'm tired.
Hey, here's the wind.
Oh, the snowstorm's coming in. Yeah.
The only time controlling a hurt character I thought had good story impact was, I might get heat for this too, was in Mass Effect 3 at the end when you're stumbling along as Shepard, just slowly raising your gun and shooting at what's coming along. And
I forgot about that scene. Yeah, that was good.
That was a really good feeling moment. But that had 3 games worth of you investing in this character to get there, right? Like,
it's similar to the only other time I think it's done well is Metal Gear Solid 4.
The crawling through the hallway. Yep.
And that's 4 games worth of build up to that one.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just say all 4 of those or 3 of those, however many the new agents that they disperse on you, like I do not understand. Like, I don't feel like that added anything to the game. I think they could have just had us done a narrative walk with each of the characters to their point. Had the scene with Mina and Elro, and then had the crazy first boss or second, I don't remember which boss fight it was with Agent Black, but where you're having to repair the elevator while dealing with
that was cool. Like, that's cool, fighting the giant cat that was made out of rubble of the city. That was cool. Like, there's so many cool boss battles, and then you have like this hour with these newbies, and it's like, I know something has to stop me from launching the rocket, but like Musum said, it should have been Agent Black with this cool like 3-tiered battle. Like, that would have been cool. But yeah. Any final thoughts here? I feel like there's a billion things in this game, so we probably missed half of them. But
no.
I think we've pretty much said it all.
If you're listening to this and you didn't play it, I'd still recommend it. Like we said, I think it's a cool game, and it's a cool experience that, it just, like we said, just doesn't fully come together.
Yeah, my cousin is a Call of Duty Blackout player, and he jumped in and watched me stream for a little bit and was like, this is interesting, I might give this a go. Yeah. And that should tell you what you need to know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely, it's just one of those games that tries for a lot of stuff, and you got to put a few hours into it before you can really start seeing what the game's going to be. Yeah. And by a few hours, I mean probably 4 or 5. But I think if you don't mind doing that, I think seeing some of that stuff is worth seeing.
And for me, after I finish the game, I'm really excited to see what this guy's going to do next, because I feel like this was a really great game that maybe was too ambitious, and I think if whatever lessons can be learned from this can hopefully be applied to another one, I think if he can take the lessons from this one, I think the next game could be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done I went to his page. He's done a ton of games. I've never heard of any of them, but like,
wow.
It's
check that out.
This is his latest one, so hopefully
he
cool. Gets a good career out of it.
Yeah, I'll have to go check it out. But let's talk about our next game. Next game here on the list. Not this game, but the one after this will be Patreon voted, so since we're a month off. Next game is Last Day of June. Came out for PS4, PC, and Switch. How long to beat has it estimated at 4 hours. I played this and talked about it a year or two ago, maybe on TVGP, and that's probably about 5 hours is probably where you're gonna finish that one. So Last Day of June. We're gonna play.
When does this episode come out?
3rd Saturday of February.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, when does this one we're recording right now air? On the feeds.
Okay, Sunday-ish. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just checking because then I can stream starting Tuesday.
Yes.
The next game.
Yep.
Rather than skip a day.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Okay.
So Last Day of June. Scoop that up, and thank you for listening, and we'll see you all next month.
Bye.
Bye.
And thanks everyone for watching the live stream. Bye.